Hi everyone! So in this tutorial today, we're going to be doing a Premiere Pro, one of the 3, possibly 4 tutorial videos that you'll have to work with. And in these videos, I'm going to be talking about different tips and tricks and quick ideas on how to add to your clips and videos, and basically how to get around and get by with just using some basic things on Premiere, but then also some other fun things. So when you're in Premiere, this is your dashboard, and although you probably at this point have a pretty familiar idea that your source clip's here, your production will happen here, your timeline will happen here with audio and media clips, and then also here's kind of where you store and import everything from. So when you right click, this is where you can import stuff for your project. We are going to take what will be an example of an animation that you might make. And so when you're in your animation and you have your frames, so let's say you made a rhino path animation, you've got however many frames on here, this has 36. What you're going to be doing is clicking the first image, and down here you see image sequence. Check that, hit open. Your file is being imported, you drag it into source. Let's make this a little bit bigger. You can see that our animation was quickly turned into a clip, which is awesome because up until this point, most of you had been using Photoshop to do that, but now we have it in Premiere. And so obviously this is where the source video can happen, and source video is, and in here, let's say if this clip was you only wanted the portion that started here, you can click mark in, and then say you only want until here, mark out. Now that clip is now trimmed to be to what you'd like it, and you can drag it back to your bin. It's now an edited version of the original. If I want, I can even say smaller animation to make sure that I am keeping track of what's going on in my bins. So if you click and drag that to your timeline, you're automatically starting with a time sequence, and obviously this goes to any amount of length of time. All of these different bars here, as you'll learn, are for different rows of audio and video. You can always add new tracks, and then there's a lot of different tools here on editing such clips or audio. So something specific to know here is that when you are in you have media imported here, you're going to see either a no bar, green or yellow or red bar above your clips. And each color indicates something different. So green means that there's a rendered preview and it's working perfectly to what is your source origin. It's a good rendered preview of the frames. Yellow means that there's cautioned limited previewing of the file. So Premiere is kind of keeping this as it's not playing back in real time accurately. It's been a bit compromised, which is okay, but it would just be perfect on the final render. And then red means a red bar, for instance, here would mean that there is no assigned rendered preview file, indicates complicated effects added, and such. No color obviously means that there is no rendered preview files. It's pretty simple media. This might be if you add a JPEG to your file, you're going to have no bar in there. So let's see what will happen if we add a video effect. So let's say I add something here. Maybe if I do something else, like down here. Oops. You see how that bar turned to red? That means that I've obviously added effect to it, which is making Premiere have to be rendering the video differently. And in order to see my preview more accurately, what you can do is go to Sequence, Rendering Effects into Out adjusts only red bars, but when you have a bunch of clips in here, you might have red, yellow, green, a whole bunch of different things that are either rendered, not rendered, or previewing, either in real time or not. But so what you're going to click is Render into Out. Your video is rendering, and thus you can see that it's a green bar now. So this also just, apart from helping to make sure that you're able to better preview the file, it kind of speeds along, I think it does add to speeding along the exporting process of what would be your final video. So just keep that in mind. And the last thing I'm going to quickly talk about here in this video is scaling and cropping what would be your any kind of clip that you might have in here. So let's say we've got our base clip and I want to add another clip on top. So I've got two videos on top of one another, and what I'm going to do is I want the one on top to be smaller in the corner. Now this is kind of a bit redundant since these are the same video, so I hope it's not too confusing. But basically what we're going to go to is video transform, crop. I'm going to drag it and put it on this file. Also, as you can see, I have two different video paths here. So as I am now on this file, effect controls, I scroll down, you can see that crop is listed as well as scale. I'm going to first scale the file. Oops, cancel. I do not want to add a keyframe, which I'm going to talk about in a later video, but I'd like to scale it first. And this can either happen here, I could do 50 here. You can see that my little video is now scaled. Or if let's bring myself to the beginning. I can use a drag bar to do such. And I can also change the position of that. So now you can see that I can kind of more manually scale. I want to put this in the top corner. Let's see, let's put it right there. And another thing that can happen here is cropping, of which I dragged over from the transform area. And you can either crop by percentage of left, top, right, bottom. I like to click on crop and then sort of manually do it myself rather than the percentages. But let's say I want half the thing, and I'm going to position this back up on top. So like loading a bit there. And also, as you can obviously see here too, is that there are other options here. Opacity, time remapping. These are the base options, of course. So anything in video, transition effects, and transform, obviously, you can click and drag this, drop it on the clip that you'd like to edit, and then be sure to click on effect controls. So that then you can see your options and then be able to adjust them accordingly. So next, in the next video, we're going to jump on keyframing, which is right here, and I'll see you then.